Hello students, this is the start of a new series of videos on what are called linear functions, and we'll tell you what functions are in general, what linear functions are very shortly. But before we do that, we're going to have to start by doing a quick review of coordinates and coordinate geometry. So what we have here is called a number plane or a grid. And largely what that's used for is to name a position on this particular plane. So for example, there's a point on the plane just there, and we want to give a name for that, some way of identifying that particular point compared to all the other points that are on the number plane. So to do this, we start by having two lines, one just there, a horizontal line, and a vertical line. Just remember that this number plane of this grid, in theory, extends forever to the right, to the left, up, and down. But normally we have to just draw part of the number plane and not all of it. So let's just name a few of the words that we're going to be using over the next series, in this series of videos. Okay, the horizontal line is called the x-axis, and usually we draw the letter X next to it to give it a name. The vertical line is called the y-axis, and we put the letter Y next to that line. Where the X and Y axes intersect is called the origin. So pretty much that's where we start from when we're identifying positions on the number plane. Notice that these two lines divide the number plane into four parts, and those are called quadrants. So quadrant number one is, on the upper right, and then we go counterclockwise around the origin. So there's quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. And for some reason we use Roman numerals to identify the quadrants. Okay, let's put a point on the number plane. Normally, points are identified with a capital letter, A, B, C, etc., and by two numbers. So the first number is called the x-coordinate, and that's basically starting from the origin, how far you go horizontally. So in this case, I'm going 2 units to the right to get to that point, to get to that point, and therefore the first coordinate, called the x-coordinate, is a 2. And the second number is called the y-coordinate, and that tells us from the origin how far down we have to go to get to that point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units down, and down is represented with a negative number. Okay, let's have a little bit of practice with that. Okay, so here's a quick review of coordinates. So there's our x-axis, there's our y-axis, and if I just tap my pen, say there, I'll just move that out of the way. Well, starting at the origin, we move horizontally 1, 2, 3, 4 units, and we move up 3 units. So therefore that has coordinates 4, 3, and we're in quadrant 1. And here's what I tell my students when I'm first teaching this. I say, in order to name the coordinates of a point, first you run horizontally. If you run to the right, that's positive. If you run to the left, that's negative. And then after you've run to the right or the left, you then jump up. Up is positive, or you jump down. Down is negative. So let's say they'll pick another point. Let's say this one right there. Well, to get from the origin to that point, I run to the left 1, 2, 3 units. Because it's to the left, that's the negative direction, like on a number line. Negative numbers are to the left. So I run back 3. So the x-coordinate's negative 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I go up 6. So the coordinates are negative 3, 6. Okay, I'm going to turn the coordinates off, and please tell me what you think the coordinates of that point are. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Okay, let's see how you went. I've got a first run, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the x-coordinate is 6. And then go down 3. So jumping down 3, which is negative 3. So it should be 6, negative 3, which is correct. And of course, that's put us into quadrant 4 because we number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, give you one more to try. What about that point just there? Whoops, I left it turned on, so I'll pick another point. Let's try that point just there. What are the coordinates of that point? Give you a couple of seconds to try to figure it out. Okay, let's see how you went. First we run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the negative direction, and then positive for y is up, negative for y is down, so we jump down 2. So it's going to be negative 5, negative 2. Quick check. Negative 5, negative 2, and it's put us into quadrant 3. Okay, let's look at a couple of special points. What if we pick a point on the x-axis? Well, let's pick that one just there. Well, in this case, we are running back 2, so the x-coordinate's negative 2. We're not jumping at all, so therefore the coordinates are negative 2, 0. And if you're actually on the x-axis, you're not in any quadrant, so quadrant equals none. What if we have a point on the y-axis? Well, let's pick, say, that point. In this case, I'm running nowhere, so my x-coordinate's 0, and I'm jumping up 4 units, so the coordinates there are 0, 4. Quick check, that's correct. And once again, we're not in a quadrant. And the last one is at the origin itself. What do you think the coordinates of that are going to be? And hopefully you said, well, it has to be 0, 0, because you're starting there and you're not moving at all. So you're running 0 units horizontally, and you're jumping 0 units vertically. Okay, so that's a quick review of coordinates, which is how we name points, or the position of points on a number plane.